to the Dads Who Diaper podcast.
Nobody ever says, "Hey, Daddy, thanks for knocking out this rent."
Who says dads can't change diapers?
I'm the cool dad. That's my thing. I'm hip. I surf the web. I text. LOL. WTF? Why the face?
Your boy's a handsome lad.
Thanks. She's actually a girl. It's my daughter.
Oh my God.
Yeah, her hair just refuses to grow.
Coming to you live from the Dads Who Diaper studio, it's Paul and Chad.
It is the Dads Who Diaper podcast. I am Paul Snowden. To my left, the brains of this operation, one Chad Carter.
I like that intro. Thank you.
Well, I thought, at one time I should give you a nice one. Of course, you are powered by Starbucks.
If only they would sponsor our show.
Well, they would probably lose money. I can only assume if you had a free all-you-can-drink Starbucks card, besides the fact you would have the constant shakes, they would lose money.
No, hey, if anybody from Starbucks who has any power at all,
any sway and or pull,
we could be the Dads Who Diaper podcast powered by Starbucks.
Literally powered by Starbucks.
Or powered by Hot Wheels.
I prefer...
What?
How about powered by Costco hot dogs?
Or powered by Costco hot dogs. Whatever you are that you may be listening and you have some sway somewhere, give us a shout out. Let us know.
Especially if it's food.
Yeah, food or drink related. We like to eat and drink when we're sitting here in the studio putting this thing together. So.
Costco hot dogs are pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're not bad. And they're always $2.50, right?
$1.50.
$1.50, excuse me.
With all you can refill soda.
Just what we need.
Do you go with the regular hot dog or the Polish dog?
Probably the regular. I haven't had one in a really long time.
Okay, that's it. We are recording this in the studio next to a Costco. We're going to leave here, drive to a Costco, and get a hot dog.
I do need to go to Costco. I have my list on my phone of things to pick up, so maybe we can just knock everything out at once.
All right, so it has been a great week for dadswhodiaper.com. I want to take a split second and thank everyone. We had our first day of having 1,000 people in one day.
Yeah, more than 1,000,
and more
actually.
than 1,000 people. And I'm not sure, a lot of people aren't really tech savvy. That is a big number for a website.
Absolutely. And on top of that, those 1,000 people stayed around for a while because our page views, which in our world is an important metric for us, was significantly higher than that. So not only are we thankful that those 1,000 plus people visited, but they stuck around, they checked out a lot of things on the website, and that's huge for us. And so we're really thankful and really appreciative to them and to you for listening and going. And so clearly people are sharing and spreading the word about us, and we're growing very, very, very fast. I think faster than we thought we would. So we're very thankful for that.
We do appreciate it, and we do appreciate poking around. And the time spent on our website is 3 times the time spent on the average websites. So,
comparable
websites. And I'm just hoping people are finding what they want and enjoying what they find, and just spread the message. Everyone who finds dadswhodiaper.com, it helps us spread more information about being great dads and kind of getting more fun dad stuff out there.
And that's the thing. We really strive to have a little bit for everybody. We've got the parenting humor. If you want a little bit of that, we got it. We've got the information from various experts around the industry. We have that for you. We've got giveaways. We've got reviews. Of course, we've got the podcast. We've got interviews with industry leaders and CEOs of companies. So we really try and bring it all together for you, and you get the opportunity to pick and choose exactly what you want to read or want to see, and hopefully you understand that we're updating it every single day. So, if Monday doesn't have exactly what you want, come back Tuesday because it's likely going to be there.
Oh, if you don't find what you like on Monday, just look because you'll find other stuff you like. There's so much stuff there. Don't just leave.
No, that's not what I meant.
Click something else, and it'll lead you down a rabbit hole of a million articles that you love on Monday.
Yes.
And then Tuesday, come back. There'll be something new, and it'll lead you down a different rabbit hole. We have a lot of content on the site. We update it every single day. There's a lot of stuff. Besides that, you can also get the podcast that you're listening to here, either through iTunes or on our website.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just stream it and listen to it while you're working, while you're doing anything else, right from our website.
While you're pretending to work.
Yeah, while you're pretending to work, and when your boss comes over, just click over to a different page real fast.
Or wear headphones and minimize dadswhodiaper.com.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got some experience with this, Paul.
I work in radio. Everything involves headphones.
That's true.
Everything is research.
That is true, and we're wearing headphones right now as we speak. So, anyway, a big thank you to everybody who has helped support us along the way. We hope you please continue to spread the word so that more and more people can find us and hopefully enjoy what we're producing. And we just couldn't say thank you enough. So,
and if you are listening to Dads Who Diaper, send a shout out on Twitter.
Yeah.
Just say like, "Hey, I'm right now listening," or checking out dadswhodiaper.com. It's a great way to spread the message.
Yep, and we'd be happy to retweet you.
Exactly. So we are constantly. Chad lives on Twitter. Thanks to all those Starbucks.
I don't know about that.
His hands like shake on the keyboards, and he's just willing to like tweet out anything because his hands shake so much from the Starbucks.
I just accidentally hit a bunch of keys and send it out and share it with the world.
If you think it's a cat stepping on his keyboard, nope, it's his hands shaking from visiting the Starbucks.
Oh boy!
All right, so this week on the show,
yes,
we are going to talk about picky food eating. What you can do to try to open up your kids' culinary world.
Yes, it's not easy. If you're a parent, and you likely are because you're listening to us, you know exactly how difficult it can be. And if you're not there just yet, we hate to be downers about this, but you have a difficult road ahead of you.
There is a train coming down your station, or down your tunnel, and it's called picky eating.
Exactly. If you have a dog, they're going to love this stage because they are going to be gaining about 10 to 15 pounds.
You know, there's a freshman 15. It's called the toddler 15 for them.
Exactly, because the toddler's just throwing everything overboard and the dogs are picking it up. Also today, we're talking about Common Core. Have you heard about this? It's kind of the new way that teachers are teaching subjects in school, especially math. And we're going to be talking about some new ways that math is being done these days. And I have to admit, as somebody who, I'll say it flat out, I'm not excellent at math. This confuses me even more so.
Well, the article that we're going to reference on our site, there's somebody there who has an advanced degree in electrical engineering, one of the parents that left a comment, and even they can't do new math.
It's crazy. I mean, it literally, in my mind, it does not make sense.
No, it's a bunch of like 10s plus 5 equals 4s. These numbers come out of nowhere, and at the end it equals like 32.
Yeah, and they say, you know, we want you to understand the basis of how all this is happening. And I say, where do these extra numbers come from? You wanted me to add 15 plus 5 to get 20, and all of a sudden we're adding in 3s and 10s and 4s, and like, this does not make sense to me.
What I would say is, you know, Stephen Hawking is a pretty smart guy, and he seemed to have learned on old math. So I would believe old math is good enough for me.
We went to the moon with old math, did we not?
Exactly.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Checkmate, Chad Carter. Good job.
So we'll be talking a little bit about Common Core, and we've got a great show for you in store for you today. So stay here on the Dads Who Diaper podcast.
It's the Dads Who Diaper podcast.
At this Chinese restaurant where I used to live in Boston, I live very near it. Well, that's why I moved there. The owner had my picture up with a slash through it. No buffet. Son of a bitch. He was rude, though. He'd come out every hour. He's still here. He goes again. I give him enough MSG, kill an elephant.
Don't kid yourself that you're working all the time, because you're not. That's all right. I understand and appreciate laziness. What I want you to do is head to dadswhodiaper.com. We have a giveaway right now for a potty training book. You heard her last week on the show, and Jamie Gulaski and her Oh Crap potty training book. We're giving one away for free on dadswhodiaper.com.
Yeah, jump on there and you can enter. She gave away some fantastic tips and tricks that you can use if you're teaching potty training right now, which I know you are in your house, Paul. But if you want the full book, go ahead, enter on our website. It's right there on the right-hand side of the page, the post, that has all of her information, and you could win Oh Crap Potty Training by Jamie Glowacki.
Yeah, either find her post, which has a great photo of some kid potty training on it, or just in the search bar, search for one of the multiple terms, potty training, Jamie, Oh Crap. I'm sure one of those things will probably get you that direction.
Oh, yeah. Just Google, or you just search Oh Crap on our website, and it'll take you right there. So you got that going for you today.
You know, you talk about some of the information she gave us, and afterwards in the forum, people were talking about how true she was about not bribing your kids with candy, how it comes back to bite you in the rear.
Well, and it makes total sense. At the time when you're going through it, you're probably like, oh, just take a poop. Just do it, please. Here, I'll give you this Hershey bar, or I'll give you this if you just make it happen. But in the long run, her argument makes perfect sense as to why you shouldn't do that. And since we're not there yet, like I'm glad to have that knowledge now and not have to try and go backwards. Be like, no, just pretend like I didn't bribe you and I didn't reward you with that candy bar and just forget all about it. So it's an interesting concept, and I understand why people would try and reward. I understand why she thinks it's a bad idea. And I have to say, in that argument, I think she wins out.
Well, we've already had a serious problem, I think that's too late to backtrack on.
Uh-oh.
Is that we started letting our son use my wife's phone to watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse if he's willing to sit on the potty. And you think that's a great idea because he sits on the potty. But now he'll just sit there and sit there and sit there. He doesn't have to use the restroom. He'll just sit there to watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
How long do you give it before you finally just say, okay, clearly this isn't happening?
Like 5 minutes or 4
okay.
minutes. But he's like, Mickey. He'll go potty, potty, potty.
Because he knows that he gets to watch Mickey.
You're like, and you're the parent. You're like, he's asking to use the potty. This is going to be great. I'll put him on the potty. He'll use the restroom. No, he doesn't have to actually use the restroom. He just wants to watch Mickey.
So are you going to continue that, or are you going to say, you know what, no more?
It's easy to say that you're going to stop doing that.
Yeah, true.
But I think we should, but realistically, we probably will not.
Why do you think you should? If you know that it's not good, why do you think you should?
Well, if we know it's not good, I should stop it because it's a bad habit to get into.
Oh, I thought you were saying the opposite, that you, okay, I got it.
But I probably will not because it gets him to sit on the potty.
Right.
And I at least appreciate him sitting on the potty.
Okay, I got you.
I know it's a bad habit. I know I need to stop, but I won't.
Well, you know what? Then you only have yourself to blame.
Thanks, Chad.
I'm here. I'm here for moral support.
All right, so once again, go to the website and sign up to win her book, a great book, Oh Crap, Potty Training by Jamie Glowacki. Glowacki.
It's not an easy name, but it's Glowacki. Did you get it? Glowacki.
If she was a football player, she would need all the letters on her jersey to make the name.
Like Gronkowski?
Yes. All right, so something else happening in our house that happens in a lot of kids' houses is trying to introduce new foods. And what do you do when it comes to dinner time? Do you just make them their own meal? Do you feed them part of your meal? Do you do a little combination of both? That's the situation a lot of parents find themselves in. And I want to talk about that a little bit today because I had kind of a fun story from some woman at my wife's daycare. And I'm also interested in what you're doing, Chad, at your house.
Yeah, we're right there. I mean, we're literally in the thick of it, transitioning from the baby foods. We're done with baby food, but I wouldn't say that we've had the most successful transition into normal foods just yet. So I think literally every single parent experiences this, and I get it. Like, babies are trying new things. I don't like all foods, so why do I expect them to like all foods? But at the same time, like, our son will pick it up, look at it, and then decide. He'll have never tasted it before. He'll just look at it and decide whether or not he even wants to try it. And if he doesn't, overboard, straight to the dog.
It's always funny when they do that on something you'll know they'll love. Like, you go and we'll have, like, the one night a week or every other week we'll go, like, French fries. And you'll put a French fry down, he'll look at it and be like, yeah, and chuck it overboard, and you'll be like, I know you would love French fries if you gave it a shot. Why are you saying no to French fries?
This is the most basic food that we have.
And 4 years from now, you will beg for these French fries.
So what foods are you surprised that he doesn't like?
Oh, I don't know. It changes all the time. You'll put something down, like yogurt. He loves yogurt. But then, like, one day, he'll hate yogurt. And then 10 minutes later, he loves yogurt. We're also trying to figure out, I think the dinner time is kind of changing, the hour of dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're trying to work that out. It's like, are we having dinner, then second dinner, snack, then late dinner? It's like, because he wakes up in the morning and he's really hungry, he says.
Right.
Like, hungry. And you're like, all right, do I need to feed him later, try to feed him more? We're trying to feed him as much as we can.
Yeah.
But this all comes from, there's a girl at my son's daycare, and her parents send her extra food at the daycare. And it's not even normal stuff like I would consider them. It's like duck liver and weird vegetables, like weird stuff that I don't even heard of.
So she's getting a 5-star Michelin experience at daycare.
Yes, they have a little like sprig of like oregano over her duck pate. And I guess this girl eats this stuff.
Well, that was going to be my question because, I mean, for crying out loud, we can't even get Wyatt to sometimes eat, pizza, let alone pate or duck liver or, caviar.
Well, I guess my wife has worked with this woman occasionally in the hospital. They have passive cross, and she asked her about this.
Oh, yeah.
And she said this is her fourth kid, and they adopted something called, like, the French food eating system or some crazy, like, nut job outer space thing, where you feed your kids, like, the craziest possible things you can think of for, like, 10 years, and then they're willing to eat anything.
Really?
Yeah.
So, like, this is an actual...
I don't know if it's... I didn't look it up, but the lady acted like it was an actual thing.
Trying to make her not sound as crazy as it may seem.
But see, my problem with that is then your family either has to make up separate things just for them, or you all have to eat the crazy nut job things.
Well, okay, so I am admittedly a pretty picky eater.
Me too. I am a real picky eater.
I know what I like, and I eat a lot of it. And I'll go to the restaurant and have the same thing for like 10 times in a row. And then maybe I'll branch out and eat something else and try something new. But I know what I like, and I know that I'm going to like it. So that's why I get it. So
It's funny you mention that because every Saturday my wife and I go to this Greasy Spoon breakfast place. It's become our tradition. And we're there, I don't know, 25 times a year. And I still order the same thing every time.
But you know it's going to be good, right?
Yes.
That's why you get it.
Yes.
Now, what does your wife do? Does she order something different?
She mixes up like 50-50.
Yeah. Okay. So she's a little bit more brave than you and I.
Yeah, looking on Amazon, there's a book called French Kids Eat Everything, How Our Family Moved to France, Cured Picky Eating, Banned Snacking, Discovered 10 Simple Rules for Raising Happy, Healthy Eaters.
Okay, now that's great and all. But again, you have to... I mean, now maybe people are a little bit more open in their tastes than we are, but then you have to start eating in all these things. And I can't imagine cooking all of these things is the easiest thing in the world.
No, it's like a full-on prepared, thing to have to spend an hour making dinner.
Right. You don't just go to the store or most stores and find, fantastic duck liver, that's suitable for your children right away.
Yeah, you know what? We make just pretty much our regular dinner at this point. We make whatever Sarah and I are going to have for dinner, and then we try to slice some off for him, and we try to supplement it with, like some of his like yogurt or some fruit.
Right.
And if he won't eat their dinner whatsoever, we'll throw a meatball or two in.
Right.
But in most cases, he'll eat either what we're having that night for dinner or save the leftovers from the day before and use that for his dinner.
Have you found that he's willing to try new foods because you're eating them, or is he kind of still not so much into that?
No, that's actually the big thing is if we're eating it, we're not around at all, he won't eat it. A lot of cases, if we'll sit down with him and we're eating dinner at the same time, he'll actually demand a piece out of our bowl, and then we'll give him a piece of ours, and then he'll start eating his.
Right. Okay. So we have tried very hard to make his meal our meal because we're right along that same thought train because we don't want to start making separate meals. We don't want him to start thinking that he can just have whatever he wants because he's he and, So we have been working very hard to give him what we're eating, but that hasn't always been successful. And now I'm cooking. I do the cooking in the house, and I'm cooking a little bit more so with him in mind. Like, okay, well, if I cook this, what is he going to have, or how is he going to like it? The problem is as I mentioned just a few moments ago, that he doesn't base things on taste versus just appearance. He just looks at it and decides whether or not he's going to eat it. So we tried pasta the other night. We know he likes pasta because he'll eat pasta. What I don't know what brand it is, but you buy it at Babies R Us or whatever, and it's baby pasta essentially. He eats that stuff up like it's nobody's business. But when I make homemade pasta and put it to him, he doesn't think that it's quality enough or something like that. So
he doubts your lack of cooking skills.
I guess so. So then we have to either go get something that we know he'll eat, or we also have done the meatballs and we'll, warm up some meatballs, or we've made some mac and cheese cups. Basically, you just make mac and cheese, throw them in a cupcake thing, put it in the oven for a few minutes so that it, kind of all molds together. And so we'll give him a cupcake or a mac and cheese cup. But we don't like doing that. Like that's not what we want to do.
Bad training.
Yeah, but at the same time, like the kids got to eat. Like we have to be able to feed our children somehow. And so we're hoping this is a stage that he outgrows and eventually will eat more. But vegetables, man, I mean, the kid won't even be in the same room with them hardly, except for sweet potatoes. He'll down those things, but nothing else.
This is where I can admit I am a terrible, terrible parent. I think both my wife and I are. Is that we don't really give him vegetables at all. We don't eat a lot of vegetables in our house. We're really bad about that. I'm a very picky eater. My wife's given up on the vegetables because of that. She likes vegetables, but because I'm such a picky eater, she doesn't make them. And then we don't feed him often enough vegetables.
Yeah.
We make a lot of fruits.
Yes.
We give him fruit, and we're trying to, we eat fresh fruit. A lot of blueberries, a lot of pineapple, a lot of strawberries. The kid will eat it at a house and home for fruit, but vegetables not so much.
Have you tried making your own smoothies or purees or anything along those lines?
With vegetables?
Well, or fruits or anything.
I think my wife has. I think we fed him a smoothie occasionally, but smoothies are a pain in the butt. They're kind of, a lot of work.
Yeah, to an extent.
And we've just talked about how lazy I am. If I wasn't lazy, I'd make my kid his own cauliflower souffle.
Well, yes. Or we saw a recipe for cauliflower pizza the other day, and that one was interesting. So we just recently, and when I say we, I mean my wife, has started to try and make her own purees. So, we had this one in the pouch that was butternut squash, quinoa, and quinoa and pear. Loved it. In the pouch, just sucked this thing down. So she decided to try her own. Well, exact same ingredients, but for some reason doesn't taste the same, and he's not so keen on it.
Are you putting it in a pouch?
Yes.
Okay, so those little fake pouches where you can buy the refillable ones?
Yes. In fact, we're going to have a review on our site about these pouches that we have. And so far, they're very convenient. Actually,
Yeah.
I really do like them. So look for the review on Dads Who Diaper here pretty soon. But the contents of the pouch, which we made, we're still working. He'll take some taste, and then he kind of gets a little pucker, soury look on his face and decides he doesn't want anymore. But we know he eats a little bit of it because he took the first few bites. So, kids, it's like they don't even know why they don't like it. They just decide one second they do and another second they don't.
Which is always a lot of fun. With no reason whatsoever, let's change our mind on everything.
I wish I could do that.
You do, but it doesn't work out. You're married, so you don't get the ultimate choice.
Touche.
All right, if you have an idea on how best to get Chad's kid to eat his stuff.
Yeah, anything at this point. Oh, very quickly, before we wrap this up, what's your, I don't want to say long-term plan, but what are you going to move toward? If he continues this, are you going to eventually start making a separate meal, or are you just going to hold out for as long as humanly possible?
No, he does a great job of eating mostly what we eat for dinner.
Okay.
And so, 85% of the time or 80% of the time, he'll just eat our regular meal, but with added fruits or some yogurt or something.
A little something extra.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so I'll also think about when I'm making tacos. Actually, now he'll have the regular taco meat, but for a long time, I used to take some out before I put the spices in.
Mm-hmm.
And so you kind of think about that when you're making dinner. It's all right, take something out before you add something to make it for him.
Right. But he'll now do the spices.
Yeah, most cases he'll eat spices.
Right. Okay. Because that's the hardest thing for us is how long do we go? How long do we give it before? And like I said, we try very, very hard to keep him eating what we're eating. But if he's not going to eat, we have to feed him something.
Well, yeah, I think at some point we went through for a while was if he didn't eat, you set him back down and then put him 20 minutes back up in the high chair. And then a lot of times he would eat it then. And if he didn't eat it the second time, then you really knew he wasn't going to eat it.
Right.
And so, half the time he would just eat it the second time. Because you're fine, you don't want to eat it now? Come back in 20 minutes.
Right. And unfortunately, they don't quite understand that this is what you're getting for dinner. If you don't like it, well, that's your problem.
Yeah, I've read how destructive it can be to just be giving multiple choices.
Mm-hmm.
You give them 4 choices, and that's it. If they want to eat a lot of one of the 4 things, you'll keep refilling those. But it's don't add a 5th thing.
Yeah. Or, even 4 might be a bit much, just really.
Well, but we'll have what we're having for dinner, whatever, chicken pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Then it'll be yogurt, blueberries, pineapple. Those are your 4 things.
Right.
And it's if you want to eat just pineapple, that's fine, but you have to choose one of those 4 things because I'm not giving you a 5th thing.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. All right. Well, yeah, if you have suggestions or if you've been successful in making your child eat new and exciting foods.
Or if you're doing the French food system.
Yeah, let us know because, clearly this is something different for every household and every family, and what works for you may work for somebody else. So give us a shout out on the Dads Who Diaper website. You can leave a comment in the comment section directly at the bottom of this podcast and let us know, and we will be happy to share with others right here on the Dads Who Diaper podcast.
Who says dads can't change diapers? It's the Dads Who Diaper podcast.
Hey, have you signed up for our newsletter yet? It's a pretty awesome newsletter.
How awesome. Like 1 to 10, what are we talking here?
47.
That is a lot of numbers.
It is a lot of awesome. It comes out once a week. We do not spam you. We give you an update on the exciting stuff that's going on with us here at Dads Who Diaper. Hey, just last week we hit a major milestone. Do you know what it is, Paul?
Free Snickers bars for all the founders of Dads Who Diaper.
I'm still waiting for mine, by the way. So when you get on that, let me know. We had our first 1,000+ visitor day on dadswhodiaper.com.
Woo!
I know. Hey, I mean, for us, that's pretty fantastic. So we had over 1,000 visitors in one day and they stayed for a while. So we had some great numbers, and we just can't thank you enough for really jumping on board with us here at dadswhodiaper.com and checking us out, and of course here on the podcast. But let us come to you each week. On Monday, we send out our newsletter. It gives you the big things that are happening in the week, some posts you may have missed, and we give you exclusive deals to partnerships we've set up with other great people online where you can get products and reviews and additional information. We have giveaways. You can enter to win on our newsletter as well. So make sure you log on to dadswhodiaper.com. You can get the Dad's newsletter. Just give us your email address. I promise you we do not spam you. And each week we deliver the best of Dads Who Diaper directly to you. So go on and sign up for the newsletter.
And if you had the newsletter delivered, you would have seen one of our big stories last week was an article about helping your kids with their math homework and whether you could still do it.
I fail straight out of the gate. Math is it's not even my strong suit. It's not my weak suit. Like, I barely can walk in the door.
You don't even have a suit.
I don't.
You're naked when it comes to math.
I guess it's my birthday suit.
It's a polyester suit from 1974.
Hey, those were pretty classy back then.
They were. Everything old is new again.
That's right.
No, we talk about Common Core in this article, but it's overall the idea of, can you help your kids with their homework?
I'm terrified. I mean, I am not what you would call an amazing student. I don't test well.
You're not classically smart.
No, I like to call myself street smart. I enjoyed school for the social interaction. Let's put it that way.
So when little old Wyatt is, by the way, we went to the pool on Saturday, and they had the big board that said, like, because they have a birthday party area.
Oh, I know where you're going with
and
this.
it had listed everyone's names who was reserved for each hour, reserved. There were 2 Wyatts that day that had the birthday parties reserved for the pool that day.
Oh, man. Yeah, and we're house hunting right now. We've got our current house on the market, and we were looking at some others. And over the weekend, we went to look through a house, and I opened the pantry just to kind of see how much space there was in there. And taped to the thing was Wyatt's meals for the week. And I was like, oh, my God, killing me these days.
All right, so when one of the 47 Wyatts in his class comes home to you with his math homework, in like the 3rd grade. Well, actually, let's say that because hopefully you can help in 3rd grade. Well, okay, let's say 6th grade.
Oh boy,
what are you gonna do?
Mom, son, go talk with mom.
Is she better at math?
Yeah. Well, she's just better in studious things in general than I am. She's a very, very smart person. She tests exceptionally well, meaning taking tests and whatnot, and so. I'm going to be honest with myself and say I am most likely not going to be the one who's going to be able to help him with his homework when he gets older.
There might be like tutors or instructors in his life.
Yes. If he wants to fail miserably, I can help with that. Well, but I don't want him to do that.
You didn't fail miserably.
No, I graduated. I got a degree in high school and in college, so I made it through. But I wouldn't say it was with flying colors.
Of course, you chose broadcasting.
So what does that say about me?
Essentially, I imagine you going into the advisory office saying, okay, what is the least amount of work I can do and still come out with a degree?
No, okay, you want the honest truth as to why I went into broadcasting? Because I did not go to school for broadcasting. I ended up with an 11-year career in it and loved it. But when I got to school, after a little while, I noticed all my friends were in broadcasting, and they were having a hell of a good time. They were getting to go out and do all these great events. They were having fun. They were doing things outside of the classroom and carrying cameras around and telling stories and being a part and got access to things that most of the students didn't get access to. I thought, man, that looks like a lot of fun. And again, they were able to go out on a Tuesday night.
And what was your initial major?
Well, I went thinking I might do some PR or I might do some music. And
Like play music?
no. Like so there was a group there that I was a part of that, and I did some like studio work and that kind of stuff. And so I thought maybe I would end up doing some of that. But as I was there and the more time that I spent there, I saw my friends kind of doing this other stuff, and it looked really fun. So I went to my advisor and I said, this was my junior year. How can I get in on that? Well, I had to start taking prerequisites and the other class at the same time to get it all done in time. And so I did. And my GPA shot up after that because I was finally doing something I wanted to do. But yeah, that was the God honest truth. It wasn't like, I've wanted to be a broadcaster my entire life. It was, my friends looked like they were having a pretty good time with it. Oddly enough, out of that class, I was one of like 3 people who did it for any extended period of time.
And most people just go there to get easy degree and then graduate and then go work at like Subway.
Yeah, no, I was very fortunate to have a long career with it. So, it worked out very well for me.
It did. But now when it comes to like teaching your kid about Eli Whitney and the cotton gin, you're going to have to remember those things and help them.
I'm going to have to become friends once again with the encyclopedia on the internet. Wikipedia.
On the internet. And like when we were kids, you had to actually go to the library and spend like that classroom where you looked up the information.
The Dewey Decimal System.
My wife and I had this conversation a couple weeks ago about why is it even important for us to remember that Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin? Doesn't everyone remember that now? Thanks to school, everyone knows Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin.
Well, I mean, there's portions of our history that are important to document, to talk about, and to share.
Well, I understand the whole idea of that whole segment of America and what's going on at that time is important, but Eli Whitney, that guy is super famous, and I bet back at the time no one even knew who he was.
Hey, what are you wearing right now?
University of Kentucky hoodie.
I know. What is it made of?
Probably polyester fibers.
And?
Some cotton made in China.
Okay, but to have that made, what do we need?
Well, nowadays you have a big machine that blows through that field.
Work with me, Paul. You see where I'm going with this.
I see what you're doing. I'm not making it easy for you, though. But anyway, on the website, dadswhodiaper.com, the question we have, can you help your kids with their math Common Core edition? Because Common Core is like a new way of math that's coming in.
It's terrifying. I'm not joking. It is, as somebody who is not excellent at math to begin with, even parents who are, like, this stuff is difficult, and they're starting so young. Now, I know that we need our kids to be educated, and we need, this stuff to happen, but at the same time, it's like, my God, is it really this early we have to start?
Well, I guess the whole point, because I kind of looked into this, is that they want to start reteaching kids math where instead of learning just how to do it, you learn why you're doing it, so you learn, like, the processes and the reason behind it. But for you and I, essentially it's like relearning. It's like going from the standard system to the metric system.
Yeah.
Because the very first one on this post is a problem that the parents left a note for. And I love the note. It talks about having a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering. And this person still couldn't figure out this basic question for their kindergartner. And then they answered it in 4 seconds using the old way. It's like 100, 100, 100, minus 10, minus 10, minus 10. And at the end, you come up with like 111.
Okay, so I'm looking. I still don't exactly understand how this question is laid out. Like, it looks like little bridges that equal some sort of numbers. And then, like, at some point, you got to figure out, like, what numbers you're actually supposed to subtract to actually get an answer. I don't understand why it has to look like this.
No, I have no idea. Like, I was looking at this, and it looks like it's written in a different language.
Yeah.
I have no absolute idea. And what it is, it's 427 minus 316, which is 111.
Right.
And then you and I can get that in about 4 seconds in our head. But yet, there's like a 19-step process where you minus 100, minus 100, minus 100, you minus a bunch of tens, you get to like 57, and somehow 57 equals 111.
Where do you see all the tens?
Well, it's like 107, the top, see, like 107 to 97 to 87, just left of the hundreds.
Oh, boy. I love that at the very bottom, it's like The answer is solved in under 5 seconds. 111. The process used is ridiculous and will result in termination if used. In the real world, simplification is valued over complication, which I have to agree with this. Like, who would spend this much time trying to figure out a simple subtraction problem?
Well, once again, they're supposedly trying to teach you the process, like once from early on, how to change your mind on how math works. But it's just stupid. Like Louis, and one of the also in this post is a thing from Louis C.K. talking about his third grader and some ridiculous question they have, and like for Common Core.
So, in this age of computers and technology, by no means do I think we should not be teaching our kids, math and stuff, because that's what we do. But in the old days, it was all about showing your work, right?
Yeah.
Like you could get the right answer, but if you didn't show your work, then you got docked for it. It didn't matter. Now, with this, it's like the answer doesn't even matter. They just want you to spend as much time possible trying to figure out what the hell to do.
Well, they're trying to teach you the process, and they assume by the end you'll just have the right answer.
But that process makes no sense.
Well, the process might make sense, but it seems like it's ridiculously hard and difficult compared to what it needs to be.
So if you scroll down on this page, and again, go to dadswhodiaper.com, and you can just search Common Core to see what we're looking at right here. So about halfway down, there's a simple subtraction problem. It says, old-fashioned way, 32 minus 12 equals what? 20, right? And then it says the new way, and it says 12 plus 3 equals 15, 15 plus 5 equals 20, 20 plus 10 equals 30, and 30 plus 2 equals 32. Then if you take the 3, 5, 10, and 2, that equals 20. Where the hell did you get those numbers to add together?
Yeah, how would you... Well, I guess those are probably the 5, 10... you go into 15 to 20, add plus... I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
I mean, this honest to God makes absolutely no sense to me. I do not understand. Like, if somebody was trying to teach me this, I would say, why are we adding extra numbers to this problem?
You would say, is there a broadcasting department in this school?
Yes, I would like to go there, please, because they have teleprompters. Thank you very much. No, I mean, clearly we don't have kids that are in school yet, and so maybe there's something here that we're not getting, but my goodness, like, to me, this looks like way left field from what we need to be teaching our kids.
What this tells me is I need to start making more money to buy tutors, because there is no way I can help my kid with his newfangled Common Core math.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, 12 plus 3 equals 15, 15 plus 5 equals 20, 20 plus 10 equals 30, 30 plus 2 equals 32, answer 20. You're like, what?
How
did you get 20? 32 minus 12 equals 20. I can figure that out.
So directly below that, it kind of works through what the new system is, and what you're talking about is trying to figure out the understanding behind it all, because it says Stuart has 15 pencils. Trey gives him 5 more. How many pencils does Stuart have together? So in our minds, in our old school thinking, we would just take 15 plus 5 and get us 20, right? Mm-hmm. Now they show you 3 different examples of what they now want kids to do to think about how to solve this problem.
Essentially, they're starting early with like X plus Y equals 20 is what they're trying to do.
Yes, and at the bottom, it says do not stack numbers, how we traditionally think. 15 over 5 line equals 20, right? Instead, they want more of a linear thinking these days. They think, okay, you have 3 piles of 5 and you add 5, what does that give you? Or you have a stack of 10 pencils high and you add another stack of 5 and then you add one more stack of 5, what does that give you? Instead of, they want you now, I guess, to think linear rather than vertical.
Well, that's fine with little numbers, but when you start adding like big numbers together, you're like, oh, I got 1,712 plus 1,200. Eventually, you just to put them on top of each other and add them all together that way.
Am I silly in thinking there's a reason we carried the one and did it that way for so many years?
Am I silly to think that's worked for like 2,000 years?
Exactly.
And now we probably don't need to be changing up the wagon wheel?
Yeah.
All right, we need to stop before we get more trouble here.
I know.
We probably already put our foot into our mouth. There's probably some angry people sending us an email right now, dads@dadswhodiaper.com, about how old school we are and Common Core's great.
Here's the thing. I'm fine with that. Let us know why we're wrong, because I actually
let Chad know while he is wrong.
Like we said, we fully understand that we don't have kids in school just yet. But looking at this stuff is terrifying, knowing what's coming down the path to us. So if we're wrong and you think we're wrong, let us know why. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll share it. We'll talk about it right here on the podcast, and we'll share your explanation. And it's a great topic of conversation, and that's what we're trying to spark here. So let us know. Again, you can always leave us a comment at the bottom of this page, or you can email us at dads@dadswhodiaper.com.
All right, there. Check it out, the website, dadswhodiaper.com. You search Common Core. You'll find the article we're talking about. Look it through yourself. See if you can do the math, and if you could help these kids solve these simple questions using new math. It's dadswhodiaper.com.
From the website Dads Who Diaper comes the Dads Who Diaper podcast.
Don't tell me you don't have a Facebook account, because pretty much everyone on Earth has a Facebook account. And what I want you to do is log back in. You might have to find out what your password is because you haven't logged in such a long time. But log in and like Dads Who Diaper on your Facebook page. We put a lot of stuff on there, stuff you find on the website, but also stuff you do not find on the website. We find additional funny humor stuff, some podcast links.
I am willing to bet, and I don't bet a lot, but I'm willing to bet that you listening right now are one of the 1.2 billion people in this world that has a Facebook page. So no excuses.
We don't spam you with other stuff. We don't try to tell you it's our birthday and demand you say happy birthday to us. We don't do that. All we do is have you like Dads Who Diaper on Facebook, and this way we can get our information out to you, throw you a funny photo every once in a while, and let you know when a new post is up on the website.
Yeah, we like to spoon feed you. We want to make it as easy as possible for you to access the material.
It's even better. It's a spork feeding, really. It's even more practical than a spoon. It's a spoon and a fork put together.
Taco Bell was the first time ever that I remember seeing a spork.
Really? Mine was KFC.
Really? Well, they're owned by the same company, so maybe that makes sense.
Yum Brands?
Yum Brands, yeah. And then sporks kind of made their way into schools. And
you know who owns Yum Brands?
Who?
Pepsi Cola.
Do they really?
That's why all those companies have Pepsi in there.
Oh, interesting. I'm a big Dr. Pepper fan.
Really?
I am.
You know, Dr. Pepper is neither owned by Pepsi or Coca-Cola.
I do know that. And it was developed in Waco, Texas.
Dr. Pepper, Texas. Isn't there a town called Dr. Pepper, Texas?
I don't know about that. I mean, Waco is the home of Dr. Pepper, so
there
back
you
in
go.
18 something or other.
Boy, we really just fell off a cliff on that
Yeah,
one.
we sure did. Anywho, the point being...
Back to the actual point.
Yeah, that we like to give you the Dads Who Diaper information directly to you. So head on over, like our Facebook page, interact with us, leave us a comment, share something with us. The page is not just for us to present things to you, but we love to hear from you as well. So make sure you interact and engage with us and share things that are happening in your life that you think we need to be talking about on the podcast, or even sharing a post with. Or if you've got a question that you want an expert to answer, let us know. We will track down an expert for you and get that information and share it with everybody, because you are probably not the only person that has that question.
No, by the way, it's Dublin, Texas is where Dr. Pepper is at.
Waco, Texas is the home of Dr. Pepper.
No, on the internets, which can never lie, the internets is true. It's Dublin, Dr. Pepper.
It must be right next to Waco. Where was Dr. Pepper?
Okay, you know what? Anyway, we're going to wrap this up this week on the podcast.
I'm looking at it right here. A pharmacist named Charles Adderton created Dr. Pepper in 1885. He worked at a drugstore in Waco, Texas.
Yes, but it was created, but now it's currently bottled in Dublin, Texas.
Well, that may be the case, but I said it.
Okay, anyway, we'd like to thank everyone for listening this week. We talked about picky eaters. We talked about Common Core math. We thank you so very much for our very first 1,000-person day, plus 1,000 people. We had more than 1,000 people in one day on dadswhodiaper.com. So keep checking out the website. Keep downloading the podcast. Keep hitting us up with great emails for suggestions for the website and podcast. And please, spread the word. Tell your friends, review us on iTunes, all that. And, of course, next week, even more. We'll probably talk Halloween on next week's podcast.
Yeah, lots of Halloween. I hope Dr. Pepper becomes our very first sponsor on this podcast.
That would be awesome. I do love Dr. Pepper.
Me too.
For Chad Carter, I am Paul Snowden. Check out dadswhodiaper.com.
I drink Dr. Pepper, don't you see? 'Cause it's the perfect taste for me. That original taste, you know, is making peppers everywhere I go. There's potent peppers, saluting peppers, cooking peppers, good-looking peppers. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Us peppers are an interesting breed. An original taste is what we need. Ask any pepper and he'll say, only Dr. Pepper tastes that way. There's carrying peppers, marrying peppers, diet peppers, quiet peppers. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? There's saluting peppers, tooting peppers.
I'm a pepper man.
Wouldn't you